What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you for tuning in. Sorry I've been away for a while, but I had some very important business to take care of, what with it being the beginning of the year and all. But I just had to step away from my important business just long enough to update y'all on some pretty exciting advancements in the tech world. And for those of you who are photographers, cinematographers, videographers, or just casual DSLR users, there's some pretty exciting information that has just been released by Canon, or been leaked from the Canon company, and that is the release of the T7i, which is the successor of the ever so popular T6i, which was released in 2015. Now, one thing that's worth mentioning that some people may find weird before we get into the nitty-gritty is the naming assignment with this particular release. In the past, with the T6i and the T6s, they had two naming assignments. Here in the United States, they went with, of course, the T6i and the T6s. But over in Europe, they went with the 750D and the 760D. This time around with this particular release, they're going with three naming assignments, which is a little weird, and we'll have to wait and see how this unfolds. But they're going with the T7i over here in the States, and then there are two extra assignments or names for it, which will be the 77D and the 800D. So that's right, we'll have the T7i, the 77D, and the 800D. Now, because this is still very early and this is leaked info, there's not a lot of information out there on this camera, but some of the information that we are privileged to is something to get excited about. So starting off, this camera will be carrying over the same 24.2 megapixel sensor that its predecessor, the T6i and the T6s, had, which won't be a big deal for most people, seeing as how this seems to be the new standard for Canon's current and future releases going forward. And what's great about this is, whether you're a beginner or an intermediate or professional cinematographer or photographer, this is going to be more than enough for just about anything that you're trying to do. So it's good that they brought this over from their previous releases, and hopefully they continue to go forward and up in the ante, so to speak, in their future releases. Now, one thing to get excited about is now this camera comes with a dual pixel autofocus system with 45 autofocus points. Now, this is a huge deal for this caliber or this class of camera, seeing as how the previous generations only came with a hybrid autofocus system, which was a great system, don't get me wrong, but this is going to be a game changer for a lot of people who are looking forward to this camera and this type of system. Now, a few other upgrades that we will be receiving with this camera will be Canon's Digic 7 image processor, which is really cool to have. Also, we'll be able to shoot at an ISO range of 100 to 25,600 and can shoot continuously at a rate of 6 frames per second. So that's an upgrade, or it's up 1 frame per second from the previous, which was only 5 frames per second in the T6i and the T6s. So that's really cool as well. And also being carried over from previous generations will be the inclusion of built-in Wi-Fi and Bluetooth for the wireless sharing of content to your computer and devices, which seems pretty standard at this point, but it's always great to know that you're going to get that in future generations as well. That's all we have right now as far as information on this new camera. The rest will be shared at the new upcoming CP Plus. So stay tuned for that, and as soon as we get any more information on this, we will definitely be updating you with this. And thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.